those of you who are new here, my name is Peyton and I'm a speculative fiction writer currently working on my adult fantasy novel, Project Old Lovers. This week has just been a crazy week. So earlier in the week there was this really big, terrible storm, like tornado sirens. We were in the basement. It knocked down power lines. Our power was out for probably like 18 hours. Luckily, the coffee shop still had power, so I was able to go there, cool off with some AC, get a little bit of work done because we have Wi-Fi there, charge my phone, charge my computer, things like that. We also opened it up to a bunch of the community members because a lot of people did not have power. It turned out to be one of our best days at the coffee shop, like ever. Kind of ironically, because no one had electricity to make coffee at home. That also means that I was constantly hopping up from behind my computer, disrupting my other work to help take orders behind the counter, hop on the bar and help make drinks. Customers would come up and talk to me and just ask me questions about this or that. So at the beginning of this video, you got to see a little glimpse of my life outside of writing. You just got to see me when I had my coffee hat on, so to speak. And I really do enjoy being behind the bar, making drinks, taking orders, interacting with customers. I really like that, but unfortunately as one of the owners, like, I have other big girl responsibilities, so it's not always the most responsible or productive for me to sit behind the bar because I do have employees and there are other tasks I can be focusing on to help us grow and expand and market us and plan ahead instead. So now that we've had a little life update on me, I want to give you guys a writing update. I want to take some time to look at my writing goals for the rest of 2024. Am I doing Camp NaNoWriMo? In short, no. It's like halfway through July. Yeah, it's July 17th. I'm filming this like real quick because of the hectic week we've had and the loss of power and everything else. Yeah, I feel like it's too late for me to start. Do I have anything against NaNoWriMo? No. Honestly, I only learned about it recently. I hadn't heard about it earlier, and I think that has to do with in my childhood, for a vast majority of it, we did not have internet at home. So I was not like internet scrolling. I wasn't a Tumblr kid. I don't think we had internet until I was in high school. So that's just kind of how it worked out. I think I just slid under that radar. But I would love to try either Camp NaNoWriMo in April or July. I would have to wait until the next round, or the traditional NaNoWriMo in November, where you write a book in 30 days. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think people use traditional NaNoWriMo to work on like other drafts. Like once you have the first draft, I don't think that's what NaNoWriMo in November is for. I think I will just have to wait and do Camp Nano for like a second, third, fourth, whatever draft. But I'd really like to try traditional NaNoWriMo for another book idea that I have in the future. I'm only going to work on one book idea at a time, so that might take a little bit, but I really like the idea of pushing myself to finish a novel, or not a novel, but I guess a first draft of a novel in a month with something like NaNoWriMo. That would be so amazing, especially after like really taking my time with this one. That'd be a good next step, I think. My major goal for this book is to have my first draft finished by the end of 2024. It is July, it is mid-July now, so we are, already halfway through the year, a little more. I really don't think it should take me 6 more months to finish this. If I am aiming for roughly like 50,000 words in my first draft, I'm not totally tied to that. I've heard other underwriters, I am an underwriter, finished a first draft at like 30,000 words. I've heard of other people finishing around 40,000 and saying that's totally okay with them. It's less about the word count, but that's something I'm using to measure. I'm just not super tied to it. When I am done, I am done. I do have an outline that I am following, and once that is completed, that will be the end of the book. In order for me to roughly get to that 50,000 though, but just for the sake of measuring a goal, I guess we're using SMART goals. By the end of the year, by December of 2024, I would need to be writing 235 words a day or 1,645 words a week. Typically, when I sit down for a writing session, I'm definitely hitting 235 words. I'm usually writing 800 to 1,000 when I sit down for a writing session. The big problem for me right now is that I don't write every day, only get to write once a weekday and on a Sunday or maybe a Saturday. I am getting better at making time for those things. My soft goal is November, more specifically right before Thanksgiving. That's still like 5 months, so I'm really hoping I can get it done before then, especially because I am writing very sloppy right now. I think I just need to sit down and do more writing sessions. Anyway, let's say Thanksgiving is my goal. Maybe I'll reward myself or something if I finish before then, but right before Thanksgiving would be ideal. That way I can set the manuscript aside for a little bit, enjoy the Thanksgiving weekend holiday, and then pick it up after that and start on draft 2, start reading through it, making my notes, prepping for draft 2 instead of actually just jumping into draft 2. My hard goal is in December, right before Christmas. I just really, really want to finish this before the end of this year, and I think it's totally doable. I just need to crack down a little bit more, make sure I get more writing sessions in. Zooming out a little bit in my big book journey, I know I want to write multiple drafts of this. Right now I'm sitting at like 4 drafts. The first draft is telling myself the story. It's gonna be really messy. We're just letting it be messy. The second draft, that's when I want it to make sense. I want to double check my story structure. I might be re-outlining, rewriting, finding plot holes. And I really want the bulk of this work to be done in the winter time because that's when it's super cozy. I live in the Midwest. It will snow a lot. It will be miserably cold. No one's gonna want to go outside. There's a beeping truck out there. I don't know if you can hear it. So 2025 is going to be the bulk of my wedding planning. If I can get the bulk of this second draft work done in the beginning of 2025, the first half of 2025, I think that would make my life so much easier. Once we hit that second half of the year, I would like to start on the third draft. And in this third draft, I want that to be the make it pretty draft. So I want to focus more on line edits. And then after I do that third draft, then I want to go get beta readers and get feedback from them. It would be nice to get this section done leading up to the wedding day and the honeymoon. I'm also gonna wait until that third draft to get beta reader feedback because I want to be ready for it. Like I've heard you're supposed to get it as early in the book process as possible, so maybe this will be a learning experience, but I want the book to be in a good enough place that when other people read it, they're not coming back to me with something I already know is a problem. I'd rather them point out things that I haven't been noticing that aren't working. I just think if I put more time, more effort, and do it in a little bit of a later draft, that'll work better for me personally. And then that fourth draft, we'll be applying the beta reader feedback, and I want to come back from our honeymoon and do this. I'll be able to just jump right into it and it'll be really exciting. Because I've also heard that when you come back from post-wedding, post-honeymoon, and you just go back to normal life, that can feel super weird too. So to have something like really big and important to me to come back to and work on, that just sounds a lot better. I may do more drafts than the 4 drafts, depending on what happens with the story and how edits go. I could totally see myself doing a 5th draft. That probably won't be the number. It probably won't be draft number 5. But that draft would focus strictly on traditional edits and formatting. That might be the new 3rd draft, but that would definitely happen before beta readers. I just want to make sure it's the best I can do before I start sending it off to agents. Which brings me to the topic of the querying trenches. I do want to try to get this book traditionally published, which means I will have to get an agent. That means I will have to query. I've heard so many things about this process, not all of them positive. I've heard querying can be one of the most stressful, heartbreaking, tear-filled stages of the writing process. However, there's still a part of me that's looking forward to it. Just the thought of having a finished book at all to send to someone, it's a huge step. That doesn't mean it's not going to be a roller coaster of a journey. If I go X amount of time and I still don't have an agent, the book will probably just be dead. And we'll move on to the next one. Querying an agent also means that I'm going to need to write querying materials. That includes the query letter, synopsis, and the pages of my finished manuscript. And then of course there's the whole researching your agents, making sure you're taking the time to dig into them and see if you'd even be a good fit for them, and then figuring out what their querying requests are. So every agent has different items that they want, different formats. You need to make sure that you're following those. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting their time. Like, you didn't read the directions, so why should they bother to read your manuscript? So after that, if I successfully get an agent, which would be so exciting, like I feel giddy just like thinking about that possibility right now. That would mean that another round of edits would happen. I'd work on another draft, and then that agent would send it out to possible publishers. And you're not even guaranteed publication just because you got an agent. So the journey is long. It's a roller coaster. I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for that now, but I'm really excited to embark on that. If I have mentioned that I am going to get married, and I'm sure some of you are asking, if I'm getting married, won't my name change? Probably. So Peyton J. Letco, the name of this channel, that's my maiden name. When we get married, I will not be changing the name of the channel. It will always stay that, because if I ever get published, I want to publish under my maiden name. It just sounds so professional, and I have always, from a young age when I thought about writing books and being published, I just like that name. I can't imagine using any other name. So those are my 2024 writing goals. If you've enjoyed this one, please give it a like, a thumbs up. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm and to keep making these videos and working on this project. So I super appreciate it as well. And maybe check out a few of my other videos. I'm pretty early on in my YouTube journey, so I only have a handful. I upload weekly, usually on Thursdays. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.